This is the usual smartphone. This is a small phone by modern standards. Well, how about this one? And what about this one? Japan has always been home to some of the most unconventional designs for technology, and these two phones, the Rakuten Hand and the Rakuten Mini, are probably perfect examples of that philosophy. But before that though, I'm close to 2,000 subs and another sub would really help me out. First is gonna be the bigger phone. I guess big is relative in this case, but it's called the Rakuten Hand because it is advertised as being easily fittable in the hand, and it does live up to its name, being very compact with a TV remote-like form factor, but also including many premium design touches. So you have a glass back, waterproofing, and a solid feel with a red color option that is very striking. Now as you can see, I have a carbon fiber back skin on it, and for the front I have this matte protector on. Speaking of that screen, it is not too shabby either, as you get an 18:9 aspect ratio OLED display with colors and viewing angles actually no less impressive than other OLED models. Sure, the bezels are quite thick and it is a 720p panel, but the lower resolution is not that noticeable on a screen this small, you know, and it helps to save battery and improve the performance. Plus, you get an in-screen fingerprint sensor as well. Now about that battery life, despite it sporting a small battery, the low-power Snapdragon 485G gives it a decent 5 to 6 hours of screen-on time in a mixed session of just web browsing and other light tasks. The performance is not exactly zippy, but it's not so bad either, and you can still do some moderate gaming, so long as you don't expect the world from it. But how about those cameras? Well, it sports a separated design similar to the Galaxy S series, and with a 64 megapixel main camera, you would expect some decent output. In truth though, the pictures from the stock camera app are lacking in detail. But with a modified Gcam app, Google camera, you can still get some nice, vibrant shots. Oh, and that second camera? It's a useless little depth sensing module that may as well not exist. Now, maybe you've noticed by now the complete lack of a SIM tray. That is because this phone is actually eSIM only, a feature only US iPhones get to have. In Japan, it only works on the Rakuten carrier and is often sold as a sort of contract bundle phone when you get with your SIM, though you can now find it for cheap in secondhand shops. But I wouldn't guarantee you'll get a signal though. Okay, maybe the hand here is still too big. You want something even smaller? Well, I got you. This is the Rakuten Mini. For context, here's a Suica train card next to it. It really is a credit card sized phone, and it actually supports Japan's Osaifu Keitai feature, meaning you can actually use this for payments, buying train tickets, making it a fully digital train card in Japan. You may see a resemblance to the Palm phone, which has a similar size, and you would actually be correct. This Rakuten Mini actually can be considered a slight upgrade with a little bit faster Snapdragon 439 and a slightly larger battery. Not that the extra power would do any help because I get at best 2 hours of screen on time on this thing. The Mini isn't gonna be a snappy experience. It's also stuck on Android 9 and it may lock up when you start stressing it out. There's also interesting software quirks, as the phone ships with a default launcher that mimics the bubble grids of Apple Watches. And although you can load a custom launcher, the launcher background will always remain blacked out. Now this small screen, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. Obviously, content consumption on this phone will mean that you have to kind of squint at it. However, I have found some good use cases with it, such as being a digital flashcard that you can load up Anki decks to study Japanese with. Now, having only 32 gigs of storage, there's not much you can put on here but the essentials. But it will serve as a nice minimalist device that you can use when you want to stay off the grid and you just kind of need something to do the basic functions. The single 13 megapixel camera is not a strong performer, but for snapshots, if you install that Google camera mod, you can still eke out some nice photos as long as there's enough light. Here's another very Japanese design element. They made a built-in lanyard hook, just like the old flip phones used to have. In a world where we must now contend with the fact that 6.2-inch devices are considered quote-unquote small, the Rakuten Hand and the Rakuten Mini fundamentally challenges these conceptions and gives you a truly small phone that fits in your hands and pockets. Now sure, they sport some very unique Japanese phone quirks, like being eSIM only, but you can't help but admire the fact that they managed to put together a very decent package into a small form factor. And with these phones now being like less than $100 in used electronics shops across Japan, it's not a bad choice for a secondary phone, or I don't know, like a first device for your kids, if you can actually buy it and if you can get a signal. And as someone who, just loves these quirky gadgets, these phones have absolutely garnered my affection.